more than 40 days since the accused peeing pervert on the Air India flight from New York has still not been tracked down. The Delhi police have managed to procure a lookout notice. Their teams are both in Mumbai and Bengaluru. But it seems like there is no trace of this man, Shankar Mishra. But first, we have some breaking news. The accused person, the peeing pervert on board Air India New York-Delhi flight on the 26th of November, Shankar Mishra, has now been fired by his company Wells Fargo, which is a multinational bank. Shankar Mishra was a senior vice president in that company. In fact, Wells Fargo had shut down its Mumbai operations at the end of last year. And now we have word that Shankar Mishra, the accused in this absolutely despicable episode that happened on the Air India flight New York-Delhi on the 26th of November, he has now been terminated by his company Wells Fargo. They had also put out a statement a short while back saying that they're cooperating with the investigating authorities, with the police, but now his company has fired him. So let me go across and try and get a word on this from Harish, my colleague who's joining us. So Harish, this is confirmed by Wells Fargo, one of the biggest banks in the world, that they have let go of Shankar Mishra because of this episode?
Well, that seems to be the case. The initial release that came in did indicate that the company holds its employees for highest standards of personal behavior and professional behavior as well. Although this incident might not have happened in their premises, but looking at the magnitude of the issue here and the kind of attention it grabbed, perhaps the company thought it's best to sack its employees.
All right, Harish, we'll leave it at that. Harish there joining us with the details of this big development. The man in question, the accused in question, has now been terminated by his employer, Wells Fargo. But let's bring you up to speed with what's going on in this story. Remember, this happened on the 26th of November. Now, his lawyers have put out what they're claiming to be WhatsApp chat details between Shankar Mishra and the victim in question. The lawyers are claiming, as per the WhatsApp chats, the lady actually condoned the alleged act a couple of days after it happened. The lady showed no intentions of filing a complaint. That's what the lawyers are claiming. A settlement was reached between Shankar Mishra and the victim in question, the elderly 72-year-old lady. The accused, that is Shankar Mishra, got her bags and her clothes dry cleaned and returned on the 28th of November. Subsequently, the accused also paid the lady in question, the victim, some form of compensation on Paytm. What happened thereafter, almost a month later, on the 19th of December, the victim's daughter, who stays in Bengaluru, in fact, she was coming down to be with her daughter and her son-in-law, the daughter returns that money back to Shankar Mishra, back on that financial instrument. We don't know what the amount was. This is what the lawyers are claiming. Her grievance, the lady, the victim's grievance, was not so much with Shankar Mishra, but was with the compensation that was paid to her by the airlines. And when that did not get redressed, that's when she decided to make this public and go to the police with a complaint that was filed on the 20th of December. Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. Nidhi Chapekar is a former flight attendant with Jet Airways. Captain Amit Singh is an aviation expert. Parvez Damania, former director, Kingfisher Airlines. O.P. Singh is former DG of the CISF. Parvez Damania, let me start with you, because the question that comes to mind, the most important question is, okay, if there was some kind of settlement between the accused and the victim, we'll get into that. But surely the responsibility here is that of the airline, more than that of the accused. It's not the business of the accused and the victim to come to some kind of a compromise. If there is a criminal act, an illegal act that has happened on board an airline, it is fully and squarely the responsibility of the airline.
Well, I think what is wrong is the airline didn't follow the protocol that was laid down. Mm-hmm. The airline, whether there was a settlement or not, that is not the airline's business. The airline should have, the air hostess, they should have separated this guy, put him away so that he could harm nobody. Air hostess should have informed the pilot should have informed the ATC, ATC would have informed the police or the BCAS, and they should have been arrested and prosecuted according to the rule of the law. The very fact that today he is not available, absconding, because he was not arrested when the plane landed. See, whether a criminal act has occurred on an aircraft, yes, this could endanger the lives of other people, which is a very serious offense. So the airline should have just followed the protocol. What happened between the lady and the gentleman has nothing to do with the airline.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another thing we have to remember that if this man exposed himself, any of the passenger, any of the women passengers, including the air hostess, can file a criminal complaint.
Correct.
So where is the question of condoning? And if you remember right, in a complaint, it is very, very clear that the crew was not really helpful. They did not support her. They let her change, gave her a change of clothes and asked her to do the same soil seat, which is not on.
Exactly.
The commander is the final authority on the flight. He has the power to upgrade anybody he desires. The least they could have done is put the 72-year-old lady in first class where the seats were empty. But that
Correct.
also they didn't do. I don't understand how this poor lady, 72-year-old, could have sat in a jump seat which is absolutely erect and only used for takeoff and landing for the crew and
Exactly.
passed the time. So I think this man is, of course, completely responsible for his mad behavior. And
he should be made accountable for it. If something, like I said, if
him.
something illegal, something criminal has happened, then that person should face the law for it. Nidhi Chapekar, irrespective of whether there is a compromise between the victim and the accused person in this case, we'll come to that in 1 second. I want to know, as a former flight attendant, ma'am, what would you have done if an elderly lady came to you and complained that, look, a fellow passenger has just urinated on me, I need help, you need to help sort this out for me? What would you have done? What should the crew have done?
First of all, you actually, take the lady away, make her, change the clothes and then give her a comfortable seat, okay? You give them a confidence that I'm there for you. Immediately at the same time, you would send your crew to look for the passenger he may be doing for the others or what state he is in. And because you are the eyes for that flight to the captain, because the captain, they don't come and see what is happening,
Correct.
Right? So it is very important to summarize the thing, but to tell in an exact manner what has happened. I would have said that this is what has happened, and this lady, she's really terrified, and I'm giving her this seat. So allow me to do that. And at the same time, I would have told that I'm going to make this in my report. Please do inform the ATC. I need security personnel on arrival. If that everything would have been taken care, I think this day today would have never come, because you need to focus on each and every arena, each and everything, with the safety, security, the pride of the female passenger.
Ma'am, if I may ask, let's say this happened. Let's leave aside, the fact that she was not given a proper seat to sit in for the remainder of the journey. But is it the decision of the cabin crew to tell the captain that, look, inform the ATC, we need security when the flight lands because an illegal act has happened, and therefore whoever has undertaken that illegal act needs to be, the authorities need to know about this. Oftentimes, that particularly with Indian passengers on Indian flights, there is this tendency about, oh, I know this person, I know that person, I have connections in high places, therefore best try and avoid any kind of legal complication. How much of that would have been a factor for the flight crew of this flight?
Okay, you truly said very, rightly that when you inform the captain, look, I need the inform the ATC.
Yes.
I want you to inform the ATC to inform the company channel that I need security. Now, if you tell this, he would ask me, how serious is it? Okay, because then this also takes a lot of protocol. I would say, no, I really need it. So he will do it, unless and until there's one such captain, which I have never come across, who would say, no, I cannot, because definitely he will do that for you.
All right. OP Singh, as former DGCISF, if a passenger has been met with unruly behavior, is at the receiving end of unruly behavior, in this case, this elderly lady, she lands in Delhi and she wants to file a complaint, perhaps in this case against the wishes of the cabin crew and against the wishes of the captain of the flight. What grievance redressal do passengers have? What redressal did this lady have upon arrival in Delhi?
Look, there are well-established rules and protocols in this regard. For the civil aviation DGCA, you have the well laid out CAR, civil aviation requirements, which clearly state what you have to do and how to handle an unruly or disruptive passenger. But suppose a victim is there and she or he lands at an airport, she can immediately contact the CISF staff or the airline security staff. Every airline has a security staff. Even Air India has a security staff. So in that case, she or she can always approach, and then in that case, what the CISF does is to inform the local police, in this particular case, Delhi police, and would have got everything registered. So there was no problem if the victim would have approached the CISF or the local police. I think the police would have acted very swiftly.
And this is aside of whether there is the go-ahead from the cabin crew and the captain. Even if they don't agree, the victim is well within her right to go ahead and file a complaint.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, let me ask Captain Amit Singh. You know, yesterday, 2 of the cabin crew were called for questioning by the Delhi police. Today, I believe both the captain and the co-pilot were called in for questioning. At the end of the day, the buck also stops with the captain of this flight because he's the commander of this flight. It's a bit like saying, you know, the cricket captain of the Indian team, ultimately the buck stops with him, right? Win or lose. So in this case, was it wrong that the commander did not file a report and thereby the airline also did not file a report with DGCA? And B, do you think the captain would have been fully apprised of the gravity of this crime by the cabin crew? Because I can't understand for the life of me any captain saying why this should not be taken cognizance of.
Well, certainly, as per protocol, the cabin crew will inform the captain. And the captain is supposed to follow their procedure of filling up the forms and informing the management who will further forward the case to the DGCA. So there is no question that this case was not, the captain was not aware. It is out of the question. Captain is responsible for the final disposition of the aircraft, whatever happens inside.
Okay.
Commercially, if you see, look at there were stories going around that the captain refused to upgrade to the lady to the first class.
Correct.
Commercially, the captain is not authorized. But in flight, extraordinary situations, captain can take any decision for the good conduct and behavior and discipline in the cabin. So that is for an example on ground. If the captain wants to upgrade, no, commercially he cannot. But in flight, when the doors are closed, he is or she is in charge of the flight. So that time, any decision can be taken in the interest of flight safety and for maintaining or upholding the dignity of a passenger or a crew.
All right. Parvez Zamania wants to come in. I think he wants to make a point. Yeah.
No, again, just give me a second. All right. No, the pilot has full authority. The pilot has the final say on the aircraft. It was not that he was upgrading a friend or something or a colleague. This was an emergency case. The lady must have been really shook up. I think she must have been in utter state of shock when this happened. So I think the pilot could have easily done it. I fail to understand why it wasn't done. It was not that there were other business class seats empty and she still wanted to be moved to first class. This should have been done by sheer common sense. I don't think he needed to take anybody's permission or check with anybody.
Correct.
Actually, and another thing which surprises me, that in the business class, the senior air hostesses work. They've been trained to follow the protocol. They've been trained that there's a full-fledged training when they join. They appear for an exam. Every year there's a recurrent training. So it doesn't mean that they were the first timers. They didn't know what was happening or they didn't know how to handle the situation.
No, but is it possible, Parvez Zamania, I keep going back to this. Just 1 second. I keep going back to this. You know, it's a very Indian mentality. Oh, this person is this person so and so. Therefore, let's, just hush it up. Let's not make a big deal out of it.
In this case, there was nothing like that also, no? In this case, there was nothing like that. He was not some minister or some known politician or some actor. He was just an ordinary business class passenger. Of course, the rules should be same for actors,
everyone,
politicians, everybody. But in this case, there was no reason for the air hostess or the pilot to hush up the case.
Okay, OP saying, again, today, the lawyers of this man, the accused person, have come out and shared some WhatsApp images. We're not sharing the WhatsApp images. We're sharing the contents of it, or at least we're reporting the contents of it, where the lawyers are claiming that there was some kind of understanding post this incident between the accused and the victim. He dry cleaned her bags, her shoes, her clothes and returned it to her, and some compensation was paid as well. The lawyers are claiming this compromise was arrived at 2 days after the incident. A month or so later, something happened. The lady's daughter returns the money because they were upset with the airline and the manner in which the airline dealt with it, or the airline compensation, and that's when they decided to go public. Do you buy that, or does that have no material bearing to the case itself?
I cannot comment on the truthness of this particular incident. It may have been there, it may not have been there, but the fact remains that it was a shocking incident, very inhuman incident, where it affected the dignity of a woman, that too a senior elderly lady. And I think even if you have a compromise between two parties, maybe the compromise would have been reached under duress. You never know. Maybe that the role would have been played by the crew members themselves. So whatever it may be, I think the law of the land should have taken place. It should have been reported to the authorities concerned, and all protocols should have been adhered to. Now you're saying they may take advantage of this particular compromise provisions during the trial. That could be possible.
Sure.
I'm not denying that. But the fact remains that a very, very serious incident has taken place in which the perpetrator has exposed his private parts of body before the lady. He misbehaved with the lady. I mean, he did everything in order to affect the dignity and security of the elderly lady. So it cannot be compromised. It cannot be condoned at any circumstance.
So let me ask Nidhi Chapekar, such a grave incident has happened on board this flight, New York, Delhi, non-stop Air India.
Yeah.
Is it possible, ma'am, that a report about this incident was not filed by anyone, neither the cabin crew nor the captain? The airline had no clue about it. Is it possible at all?
It all depends. Say, the rules are for all the airlines to follow. You have to report every small incident happened on board, whether it regards to anything in the flight, and the same flight goes to the GTCA portal as well. Now, it is not possible that with the consent of everyone, that it wasn't reported. It could have been, but in a very, I would say, in a minimal manner, that some person, he got up in his deep sleep. He peed on the side, but the lady was sleeping. We got something like that. I don't know. Okay. But this is also possible that if they said it's okay, matter is solved, you can just let it, because it's going to be because now they both are normal. Maybe, I don't know. So it could be possible, but yes, you have to report, because see, we go under a very 3 to 4 months tedious training. So every single thing has been briefed to you. That's the reason you have training flights to go to. You have certain amount of hours, to be the second senior, then the third senior, something like that. So it is, but I don't think they should have missed, because my conscience says in my 25 years of career, I have never failed to report even a single thing.
So Amit Singh, in this case, again, I keep coming back to this. I want to know the rights of passengers. In this case, clearly, if you were to believe what the victim has said in her letter to the Tata chairman and to Air India management, the cabin crew or the commander of the flight were not very keen that she file a complaint. Upon landing, if the crew is not cooperative or not willing, and if the captain is not willing, what is the mechanism that airlines have for passengers to escalate a complaint?
Where is the question of not willing? I tell you, Nidhi will say this, that even if a coffee machine is not working, or if you run out of coffee, you've got to make a note. Such small things also be needed in the report, and the report goes till the management, and they see and process the report. So such a serious thing. And another thing, what is most shocking is this victim was made, the abuser was brought back to the victim and made to sit in front of the victim and try and reach a compromise. It is not the air hostess's job to come to a compromise. They should have separated these two people. Put the abuser in such a way that he doesn't do anything stupid, kept a watch on him, and followed the protocol. Who are they to decide on a compromise?
Exactly.
They do not have the right or authority to come to a compromise. It is not their job. And if there was what is this? Got her shoes clean, got her back clean. I mean, this is crazy.
Just give me a moment, Mr. Damania. I'm joined on the phone line by All right. All right, we have an element that we need to play out. This is Ishani Sharma. She's a lawyer of the accused, Shankar Mishra. Let's play out what the lawyers are saying. Like I said, the lawyers have put out this purported WhatsApp chat between the accused and the victim. Let's listen to what Ishani Sharma had to say.
What really is the position of your client at this point in this particular case?
I think this entire matter is before the court now. They have gone and filed a criminal complaint. It is an FIR now. So now it is all for the court to decide. We have our story. There is a version of the lady in question. So there are two contradictory versions, and now everything will be decided by trial, which will be led by evidence. So for me to comment more than that would not be correct. But having said that, I would also say that there always is a different side of a story. We have been pushing too hard for one side of this entire story. Now there are a few very, very important questions. One, the seat number of the lady was 9A. As we all know, a 9A is a window seat. So
right.
Arguably there would be somebody sitting in between.
Right.
There will be someone seated on the aisle seat.
Right.
We have heard no complaint, no eyewitness account, no one coming out and saying that I was on the aisle seat, I got affected in the process, or I witnessed this with my own eyes. Saying that my client was inebriated, was intoxicated, the client was not in his best frame of mind, but that is not you cannot presume it to be just under the influence of alcohol, because when he was in a better state, he was accused of certain things, that you did this, and he was not in a state to actually recall what he did. He apologized, and his apology was accepted. You can read the WhatsApp messages. He has been very, very apologetic as well as respectful towards the female in question, and and that apology was well taken. When he was transferring the money, it was her messages saying received. So the entire criminal complaint and return of the money and everything is an afterthought.
Okay.
It didn't happen then.
What has actually changed the circumstances, if you could tell us, or something that you would know about, since already the matter was settled, if we could see the WhatsApp chat that was there?
So I call it a malicious afterthought.
All right, malicious afterthought is what the lawyer of the accused person is saying. I'll ask Captain Amit Singh first and then OP Singh. Captain Amit Singh, one of the points the lawyer is raising is the said victim was in seat 9A, which is a window seat. Surely there would have been somebody in 9B, which is an aisle seat, and no such person has come forth and complained. Now, it's very well possible. We don't know that that aisle seat was not occupied. It was vacant, right? We don't know that. But does what the lawyer of the accused person saying that this was a malicious afterthought, those are the words that she used, does that sort of have resonance with you?
Well, the fact is that 8A and 9A are seats which are not in a row. But where was the person actually seated, and where was the lady actually seated? Because people move around in the aircraft after the aircraft takes off or doors are closed. So these facts need to be brought forward. What was the actual position? That could be only corroborated by the cabin crew. So the cabin crew has a very important role to play. And
but nobody is denying such an incident happened on board. Neither the accused lawyer is denying, nor the cabin crew, nor the airline. The airline's been putting out multiple statements over the last few days. Everybody says, yes, said incident did happen.
Zaka, one thing I want to bring to your notice, and Nidhi will agree with me, every aircraft has a different format in a business class and first class.
Sure.
Sometimes the seats are placed in such a way, or the seating is such a way, like for Jet Air, every seat was independent.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean 9A has to have an aisle seat. So the seating format can be different at every aircraft. A lot of aircrafts have a very different kind of seating in a business class for long distance, where each seat is almost independent. So saying that there was nobody 9B, see, the accuser has also admitted that this happened. No.
Yes.
Now saying she
no.
was
No.
9B
One second.
and
I'll ask
9B
this to Nidhi. What the lawyer is saying is, whether he was inebriated, whether that was under the influence of alcohol or some medication, that can only be said after investigation. He did not have any recollection of what happened, but when he came to a state of mind where he could, he was told this and he accepted. Again, do you buy that? I mean, what could be his state of mind that he can't remember that he actually went and peed on a woman?
It could be possible. Say, when you're coming from a different zone, okay, you're coming from New York, you may have had the entire day in the meeting and in the hustle, and then you may have had some drinks at the airport. You don't know. We don't know. I don't know because I've not seen him. So, and then when you come to the aircraft, you're so dead tired, and you have another two, maybe, some drinks served, or maybe you have from your own bottle, which is not allowed as per the Indian, we do not allow to have from your own bottle. So, he may be in that state because you really do not recollect, and it could be because we have seen that sometimes when the passenger is in a very this kind of a state, and they say that, okay, we would like to use the washroom, please guide me, because I have not slept for 3 days entirely. I was in a meeting, not intoxicated, but just let me know where it is so I can just go in my deep sleep also, and I can just go. So I can, maybe he may be he may have done it, and what they're saying is right also. So it could have happened because.
Okay, I'll give OP Singh the final word. Again, from whatever you heard from the lawyer, OP Singh, she's basically saying that a compromise was arrived at, and then 20 days later, they returned the money. And then they filed a criminal complaint. This is, according to the lawyer and her words, a malicious afterthought on the side of the victim. OP Singh. OP Singh, please.
My last word would be that whatever it may be, whether it's an exaggerated incident or whether it's a concocted story or whether compromise has been reached or not, the fact remains that the air crew members or the pilot should have reported this matter to the authorities. This is number one. Number two, that in all these aberrant, abusive, abnormal behavior, alcohol consumption is something which should be taken very seriously, because alcohol consumption is before the flight or also during the flights. And that is why you have a lot of frustrations because of many other reasons. Maybe because of the security protocols or the delays they cause, so many of things. So I can accept the arguments of the lawyer. But at the same time, since Air India has already ordered for an internal probe, let the probe come out.
Okay.
Because the police is already probing, and the internal probe will also start.
All right.
It's very difficult
I have to wrap
say.
up. I'm completely out of time. Thank you very much to all our guests. All I'll say is this, that neither the accused lawyer nor the victim's account is, dismissing this incident. The incident did happen. This accused person did urinate on an elderly lady. What the circumstances were leading up to it, how the crew handled it, all of that is a matter of investigation. But I'm absolutely clear in my mind, there needs to be a deterrent. Such an act should never, ever be dared to be repeated on a flight. Thank you for your time.